Yeah, I don't think Netflix is going to be around much longer. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Netflix is proposing a plan to only feature Warner Brothers movies at the theater for only 17 days. Now, Netflix previously had stated when they bought Warner Brothers they were not going to change the whole plan for their theatrical releases. However, it's looking like Netflix's CEO Ted Sarandos is having a different idea as related to Warner Brothers theatrical releases now that the deal is on the way to being done. And that deal may be the thing that not only leads to the complete collapse of the entire theatrical business of Hollywood, but could also lead to the complete collapse of Netflix because it doesn't look like Ted Sarandos really understands the entertainment business or how money is made in the entertainment business. Now, Ted Sarandos basically believes that streaming is where all the money is made, but when it comes down to film, most of the money is actually made at the theater. Now, when it comes down to movies, most of the money, usually after a film is completed, is made at the theaters, and the theaters, while they get half of the money as related to the box office, the studios, this is the way they can maximize recouping their costs before going to secondary and third markets. And this is what the Netflix CEO doesn't understand. Streaming is not the primary revenue stream for cinematic movies. No, the primary revenue stream for cinematic movies has always been the theater, and when it comes down to the business of Hollywood, it's always about getting the money up front, and the most money that you can get up front is at the theater. Because at the theater, what you can do is basically go out here and get people to buy more than one ticket. And if you have a family of 4 or 5, you can get the money for 5 tickets. Whereas for a Netflix subscription, what's going to happen is that you're going to get, yes, people will go to the streaming service to watch the movie, but they're going to be able to make more entertainment value per dollar than the Netflix would make as related to their content. On a streaming service, people can basically watch 3, 4, 5 releases if they decide to wait for streaming. They can go out here and wait for streaming and basically watch all of your releases in a year if they are that patient and do it all for under possibly $20 a month. Meanwhile, if you took all of these movies to the theater and let them stay at the theater for 45 days or even 90 days, you would basically make even more money because you had 4 people as related to a family buying tickets at $15 to $20 a pop. So you're making $80 to $60 on movie tickets at the theater. And then on top of that, you're also going to be making money later on if you keep markets open like home video. You can make another $20 on DVD and then make another couple of $1 million on syndication as related to cable networks. Then you can go to streaming, and this is what Netflix's CEO really doesn't understand about the entertainment business, because when it comes down to these computer guys and these computer nerds, they really don't understand the entertainment business, and they don't understand how the money is made. Because when it comes down to a theatrical release, 17 days isn't enough time for a film to go out and be able to have an opportunity to reach the audience. No, you have to make your money strong in the opening weekend, because in this business, again, like I've said before, it's all about getting your money up front. And you want to get that money up front in the opening weekend. And usually, if a film is really solid and can build a following like previous films have done in the past, you can possibly wind up having a strong second weekend if the word of mouth is strong. So this whole plan to say, hey, we're just going to do it in 17 days, again, this is not a smart move from Netflix as related to Warner Brothers, and may not only put Warner Brothers in jeopardy and the movie business in jeopardy, but it may lead to the complete demise of Netflix, because Netflix's CEO really doesn't understand the business and really doesn't understand that your goal as a studio is to go out here and try to make as much money as you can, because when it comes down to films, just like books and publishing, 90% of your products are going to fail. And the whole thing is, if you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on films, you want to find a way to recoup as much of those costs as you can on the front end, so that you don't have to go out here and hopefully try to make some revenue on the back end. When it comes down to this whole plan to just put films in theaters for just 17 days, this is destined to be a disaster, because you have a lot of these films that cost anywhere from $50 to $200 million just for a basic average film these days, like just a regular movie. And if you have these films that are costing anywhere from $50 to $200 million, again, you're not going to really make that kind of money on streaming on these type of projects. And what's going to happen is the same thing that happened over at Disney, as related to Disney Plus and many of their Star Wars projects. What happened over at Disney Plus to many of their Star Wars projects that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on is that Disney wound up taking huge losses, because they made all of this content for streaming, but much of this content really did not, again, get the ratings. And even worse, Disney didn't have a plan for secondary or tertiary revenue streams as related to that streaming product, and that's where they wound up underwater with a lot of those projects, because again, when it comes down to film, you really want to be able to make sure that you can maximize your profits. And again, maximizing your profits starts at the theater. That's where studios want to make their money, because again, like I'll repeat it once more, you can make $80 to $60 on a family of four just on movie tickets at the theater. And you got people paying for one ticket, again, for each admission. So you're making more money than you would if you took a movie and, again, released it on streaming. Again, you release a $200 million movie on streaming, and yeah, you may get a lot of subs in the short term, but in the long term, again, you're losing a whole bunch of money. You're losing a whole bunch of money as related to the theaters. You're losing money as related to home video with DVD. But Netflix's CEO thinks that people are just going to sit there and, again, watch streaming services, and they think that they're going to be able to steamroll the theaters. But what they don't see is that they may wind up steamrolling themselves. They may wind up steamrolling themselves because, again, these production costs basically will eat up a company. Again, when you're spending anywhere from $50 to $200 million on multiple projects, the subscriptions coming in basically ain't gonna cover all them costs, and a 17-day window ain't gonna help you, again, cover those costs as related to not only maintaining the studio production and the studios of Warner Brothers, but also maintaining the servers at Netflix. Again, this guy is not doing any sort of critical thinking about the entertainment business, not really critically thinking about the entertainment business. No, he's thinking he's going to try to dominate the industry and be the one billionaire that will control entertainment. And that's where all Netflix may wind up slipping through his hands like sand. It may wind up slipping through his hands like sand, because this whole plan, again, cannot work, because, again, 17-day window doesn't really give a film time to gain traction, doesn't give it time to gain any sort of legs. doesn't give it an audience to find an opportunity. And again, you want to make your money up front in this entertainment business. I would rather make the $80 at the theater and come home with 40 of those dollars. But the Netflix guy is thinking he's going to make, again, a straight 25 as related to the subscriptions. But again, 25 that you make, or 20 that you make as related to subscriptions, is nothing compared to the 40 you would have made at the theater on top of the 25 you would have made on streaming. Again, you would have made, again, about $100 some on a theatrical release that somebody bought on DVD. Then they would have watched it in syndication. Then they would have, again, went out here and watched it on streaming. You could have made money 4 times on one movie, but because this guy basically wants to think he can long-term dominate the entertainment industry, he may wind up with absolutely nothing, and Netflix and Warner Brothers may wind up becoming relics of the past as related to entertainment, all because they're being completely mismanaged by computer nerds who really don't understand the entertainment business or how money is made in the entertainment business. Now, if you want to read a story where I talk about Hollywood, you can pick up my screenplay book, All About Marilyn, on Amazon.com, and that takes you behind the scenes of the entertainment industry. And if you want to check out my books on the SJS Direct imprint that feature great characters like Isis, Esteem, John Haynes, and Spence Durella, you can also find those books on Amazon.com along with All About Marilyn, and you can also check out my nonfiction as well. And if you want to see me make more videos talking about the entertainment industry and taking the entertainment industry to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback at e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil Incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem, Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem, Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.